Hi everyone, and welcome to the second video in our series about the new planting tools in environment version 15. So in the last video, we talked about the planting family feature that allows you to create planting mixes based on the planting families and the species information that it is embedded in them. And just a reminder that a planting mix is just species information and placement rules, right? So this can actually include just one plant. So that's how we refer to a planting mix. And it can be represented in your model in different ways. So in this video, we are going to talk about how to present it or represent it as an area. So let's go ahead and open the planting area tool. And this tool actually allows us to use slabs to represent these areas. These slabs can be either toposolids, floors, or roofs. And this is something that you actually define when you create the mix definition in the Planting Family Manager. And again, I will include the link to this video in the comments so you can see the first part of this workflow. So this tool allows you to represent the planting areas as slabs, the way you defined it in the mix definition. And once you created, and you'll see it in a second, once you created an area, it will automatically drape on the nearest surface, so the nearest toposolid. So you will actually get the area in 3D on top of your grading, on top of your landscape design, right? And this floor or toposolid, in my case, I'm going to use floors, is going to contain the metadata of the planting mix and of the planting species so you can tag and schedule it. And we're going to talk a little bit more about tagging and scheduling in the next video next week. So let's get started. And this is the interface that we have. Please, you can see that I'm going to work on plan view and 3D view simultaneously, just so you can see, but you can choose to work in whatever view you want. I feel that it's very convenient to work on a plan view with this one. So let's start to talk about the interface and how to use it. So I want to start with actually talking about the boundary style over here. So if I open the drop down of the boundary style, when I want to draw a new planting area, I can just create a straight regular boundary, cloud shape, or reversed cloud shape. I actually like the cloud shape. I think it's the most, aesthetically pleasing boundary. And we will show you in a second. I'll show you in a second how it looks like, but you just have to remember that it's only for, aesthetics, to create a nice geometry and to present your plans, but it actually does not determine the quantities that will be calculated later. So the quantities will be, the entire area and not according to the cloud shape. And the circles in the cloud shape are automatically, the size of them is automatically calculated according to the actual planting family that you defined in the planting mix. So let's take a look at it. How do I draw it? So let's start with the draw region tool. That's the first way to place an area. So I defined a cloud shape boundary style, and I want to go to the draw region. So I'm just going to go ahead to my topography and draw something. So you can see it's just a polygon that is created in between the points that I'm drawing. And then I'm just going to click on Escape, and I will get a preview. You can see both in 3D and 2D view, I'm getting a preview of what my boundary looks like. So again, the circles of this cloud shape are automatically determined according to the families that I chose to use. So let's see it again. I'm going to click on Escape now. And now I can draw a new area. So let's this time choose the lily mix. And I'm going to choose the draw region. And you can see now that with the draw region tool, I can actually snap. Right now in version 15, I can only snap to other planting areas. And you can see that I can't snap to other Revit elements at the moment. We do plan to improve that. So I can snap over here and create 2 adjacent areas like that. Click and escape. And then I see my second area over here. Another function that I want to talk about is the boundary gap that you see over here. So let me just click on this area, for example, and the boundary gap, let's set it to 0. Then you can see it's totally adjacent to the cyan or the purple boundary. And if I'm gonna change it to maybe 50 centimeters, it's far away. So again, the overall calculation after, in the next video, we're going to see how to create a schedule and how to tag it, and it calculates the amount of plants that are supposed to be in the area, but the overall calculation will always take the entire boundary. So you need to remember that both of these definitions are just for, graphical aesthetics, to have a nice model, to be able to export good documents and good plans, but they're not for calculating. The purple or the cyan area that you're drawing, that's what we're going to use to eventually calculate these areas. So I'm going to put it back to be like 10 centimeters. I think it's nicer. And I'm going to do the same over here. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is, before I'm going to move to the overlapping and opening topic, I just want to finish for a second and show you what happens after you create a boundary, both in 2D and 3D. So you can see it actually draped on top of my surface. So I can get a 3-dimension understanding of the overall volume of my planting area, which I think is super cool. And it's very, very useful as opposed to other methods that we saw until today. All right, let's go back to the planting area tool now. And I want to talk about overlapping and openings now. So first of all, let's talk about overlapping. So let's take like ornamental grasses mix that I created. And let's go to the draw region tool. Oh, and I forgot to talk about the pick area. We're going to talk about it in a second. So let's take the draw region tool, and I'm going to create another area over here that is actually overlapping with the other area that I have, right? And I'm going to click on escape. And what's happening here, and you can see it also in 3D, is that it's basically kind of environment understands that right now this is the first area that I have and this is the second. So it's kind of smart in a way that I can really overlap and feel very, very free with what I create. Again, let's click on finish and just see how it's recreating the entire thing. Don't get scared about it. Yeah. So you can see it immediately understood my intention and how I want to relate to this overlap. And let's take a look at how we're dealing with openings and the same topic. So I can actually create an opening in this area and not only an overlap. So if I go ahead and just click on create something like that, let's go to ground cover and just create something in here, click on escape, then it will create another area. But I do have an option to turn this thing into an opening by selecting the appropriate boundary style and just defining it as a planting area opening. And now it's going to be empty over here. So let's click on finish. Yeah. All right. So now it's ready as an opening. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about the other method of drawing an area. And this is by using the peak area tool. So the peak area tool currently works on slabs. So you can create a topo solid, a floor or a roof to be considered as an area. But my favorite method is using a subdivision, and it's kind of allowing me to pre-draw or predefine my areas. So I'm going to select this subdivision as, sorry, this topography as one area. Click on escape, change a mix, and then pick area. So now I want to select this subdivision as the second area. And again, click on finish. And you will see how these two areas are draped on top of my topography. All right, now let's talk a little bit about how to edit areas. Again, it's kind of straightforward, but let's go again into the planting area tool over here. And then in order to edit an area, I just have to click on the actual edges of the slab, not the cyan boundary, but the edges of the slab. So as I'm selecting it, you can see that I have the vertices available for editing. And what's nice is that if I'm clicking on align with adjacent, I can actually drag this vertice. I can actually drag this point and it changes along with the adjacent boundary. And now if I cancel the align with adjacent option, then it moves alone. Of course, I have an undo and redo buttons, so you can always go back and forth. And then another option that I have for editing is the edit vertices option. So if I want to add a point, I could just click anywhere on my line. And if I want to, and let's, click here as well. And if I want to remove a point, I just have to click on an existing point and it disappears. So clicking on a line adds a point, clicking on a point removes it. And again, it's very, easy and intuitive. Click on escape and then I'm in the editing mode again. And then you can see that my new point, as long as I'm clicking on align with adjacent and I had a combined line, then it moves together. So it's very easy to work with. How do I change a mix type? Again, I'm just clicking on a mix and going to the list, selecting a different mix. Oh yeah, the reason over here is that I have a topo solid in the floor, so it didn't allow me to change a mix type when I have a different slab definition, because again, with the API of Revit, it's hard to, it's not possible to change from one category to another, but it is possible to change from one type to another. So this brings me to a very important point and a tip. Just select one category to work with. So for me, I chose to work with floors. I don't know why this one has a topo solid. Let's click on this mix. So again, that's how I'm changing a mix. You can see that this one is a little bit too big to fit in here. I can either change to a smaller mix. Yeah, this one is fine. Or I could, change the boundary, right? So as I change a mix, I could just click on escape and that's it. So the changes are there. And let's really click on finish and see the changes occurring in real time. And again, don't be scared about the process of draping these mixes on the existing surface. It's going to look weird at the beginning and then it's going to just look fine. All right, perfect. So we have our planting mixes, and in the next video, we are actually going to see how we can tag and schedule these mixes, how we can control the tags, how we can control the graphics of how these mixes look in a plan view, and we're going to go really over all of these topics. But before I finish, I want to give you 2 notes about the current, again, we're talking about environment version 15. So I want to give you 2 notes about the current functionality of these mixes. So the first one is that you can always go to environment planting area tool and then go to the planting mix option over here and change the mix definition. Either, you can edit everything, either the floor, the slab representation, either the plants that are in our mix. So we can really change everything, and it will update in the tagging, in the metadata. As you can see, there's all this data embedded in each slab. So it will update here. And it will update all across. So be very mindful when you're editing and changing it, because if you have a lot of elements, it will take a while for the update to take in. The other thing is that when you're editing the surface that is, under these planting areas, you will have to manually go back into the planting area tool and then edit these mixes one by one. Sorry, I'm doing it in 3D, so it runs away. So I'm going to do it like that. So when you're editing, when you're just moving, even slightly moving a point in a mix, then environment will understand it. It has to redo the entire, draping, or like shape by topography. So the entire draping of the element. So currently, if you're changing the surface under these planting mixes, you'll have to actively go into the planting area tool and redo the mixes, right? However, there is another method. We have the shape by topography tool. So let me just do something weird. I'm just going to reset this shape. For example, just to give you an understanding. So there it is. So just a small example for the ones who don't know the shape by topography tool, you can always go to the shape by topography tool, select this surface, this topography as the topography to reference to, and then select this floor to drape over, and then set the align width to be the same as the mix definition, which means finish face bottom, right? Include interior points. So you can do it with multiple floors. So if you really change the topography and you have a lot of planting areas that you need to reassign to the topography, you could just select as many floors as you want to drape on the topography, and then just click OK. And that's basically the same process that is embedded with the planting area tool itself. So, and then when you go to the planting area tool, you just get, a good result. Environment recognizes this area, and you get everything draped on your surface. So these are the 2 notes. And again, this is right now for environment version 15. We're constantly working on improving it. So I do urge you to, download the free trial if you haven't tried the environment yet. Give these tools a try and give us a feedback. So on our website, this is our website, arcintelligence.com. You can download the free trial here if you don't already use environment, and you can definitely leave us a feedback through the contact us option on our website, or leave us comments here in this video, and we'll be happy to hear any feedback you have about these tools.